So Musa, I want to bring you into this conversation as well. Hello, sir.
Hey,
Welcome back to Pittsburgh. We're thrilled
thanks
to
for
have
having me.
you,
Well,
and thrilled to have you in this role. How do you bring him to life, and what are the kinds of things you go after in this character to really make him come off of the page and physicalize him on the stage?
first, like vocally, it's a very difficult role.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a powerful role, and so most people, I would assume, Maestro can correct me. Some people who have done this were usually people older who have done other roles, and maybe towards the end of their vocal lines or age or careers, and so there weren't many expectations for them to have to fully sing this the way it's written, because I mean it goes there in the passage forever and ever. E flats and Fs and all that, and you're supposed to sing this. And so I've seen some videos of people who just don't quite sing it. They do more comedy than singing it.
Hmm.
But I'm younger and it's important for me to sing it. And so going back to your question, so I think there are many dimensions of this role. I think, yes, he's buffoonish. I don't think he's dumb. I think the problem is that there are two levels.
Yeah.
He's highly intelligent in terms of academics. He's a doctor. He knows those things, but I don't think he has the street smarts like Figaro does.
Mm.
Also, I think he lacks emotional awareness as well as social awareness. And so I'm so smart. He says in the area, he repeats himself. You cannot fool me, but they do fool him. And I think he's so stuck in his ego that I'm so smart, nothing anyone can do can actually fool me, such that he trips over himself over and over. Because all the things, if he were to just sit down and do nothing, his life would be easier.
Mm.
We also see that at some point, when we get to the second act, he does pick up some things because he doesn't trust anyone. So maybe that might be his guardian angel, because he manages to trick Rosina using her very same letter she wrote to her lover. Of course, unbeknownst to her is the Count. And he uses that. If it wasn't for Basilio coming with a notary, accepting the bribe from the Count might not have a chance because Bartolo would have married her. So now coming to the third part of your question, how do I bring him to life? Well, first and foremost, getting into the parter because it's so fast. My approach is the fastest way to go there is the slowest way. And so just because it's fast, I cannot use the fast approach. Before we get to all the fast parts, I have to do the tedious part, which is really tedious. And I want to stab myself at times because you're like a child learning something new and you want to do other stuff. So I have to go as slowly as possible. Signorina, un'altra volta quando Bartolo andrà fuori. So I pick up the pace. But I have to do this every day. Signorina, un'altra volta quando Bartolo andrà fuori. Signorina, un'altra volta quando Bartolo andrà fuori. Change the pace. Signorina, un'altra volta quando Bartolo andrà fuori. Change the pace. Signorina, un'altra volta quando Bartolo andrà fuori. Change the pace. Signorina, un'altra volta quando Bartolo andrà fuori. But I cannot get to that fifth level if I have not done the very first one. So I have to do the stupid thing that is the tedious part, the seemingly less smart thing to do, like a child, doing it slowly until I get there. It seems to me that by the time you get to the first part, if you've now mastered the slow part, I still have some challenges at times if I trip over myself, if I don't keep to that, feeling the beat every time, every time. And so how I get to this difficult part or any imbuing the role and to make it my own, I come with a fresh mind to say, I've never done this before. This is new, even if I might have done Barbiere before, but this is a new production. I'm going to approach Bartolo as a new thing that I've never done before. Because that way, when Maestro or Greg give me notes or things to do, I'm open to them, I can learn. It keeps me better and better. And so it's been slow and tedious, but slow and tedious gets me there because I can pick up things where even before I sing less, but I spend more time going through the words and the rhythm. that way, and then some vocalism between, oh, is that vowel bright or is it dark or any of those things, so that by the time I start to sing, I have a concentrated 20 or 30 minutes of singing. But most of the time, 3 hours or 2 hours, whatever I spend each day, is really going through the words. Then another component is this: when we get to the rehearsals, because of it's a hard role, I don't mark. I do not like marking. If I'm tired, I may sing octave low. Marking for me gets me off my voice and gets me tired more than I sing. So the reason I sing, especially the hardest part all the time, is because my body has to be used to it. And so that there are no surprises. So I know tomorrow I've got the hits. I know parts where I have to work on. Because then if I don't do this, suddenly we get to the hits, I think I can sing full out. My body and my voice will be like, we are not used to this, so I'll get tired. So it's been like the slow burn for me, which I like, because now I've tuned out. I even told friends that I've been off social media for a while, because I've been saying to myself, I need to work on some things, but I feel that there's a lot of distraction. So for 6 months, I'll be off this thing where I'm focused on what is it opera-wise I need to learn? What is it vocal-wise I need to work on? What is it even emotional-wise I need to work on? So I'm on vacation from life, and I'm focused on work and me.
I love that. I love your example too of the patter and the slow and steady kind of build, because in addition to how quickly your aria ends, Rossini doesn't really do you any favors by all of that patter and then taking you up in your tessitura. I mean, he ends that section, and then you have to come back and sing essentially like the refrain again. And so, I mean, it's a challenge in all of that. And
another challenge is that, you know, as soon as you finish the aria, you only have a reprieve from Berta's recitativo, and then the count comes in. As the drunken soldier, you do the finale, and the finale, it's really mostly the count and Bartolo before everybody comes in. So it's a lot, and so if that is why I don't mark, because by the time the finale comes in, I'm ready for it. If I mark a lot and I think I'm just going to sing out the aria, by the time the finale comes in, I'm out vocally.
Yeah. John, your hand was up there for a second.
Yeah, I was just saying, when Musa was going through that patter slowly, it's interesting to see, like I've done a fair amount of new opera, and you can tell when someone's maybe newer to writing for the voice or someone who really knows writing for the voice. And Rossini definitely knew about writing for the voice in particular, because like, even though that's very quick, all of those vowels are lined up in the same spot. So you can do it all. Once you get it, it can all stay in the same place, kind of like column wise, sound wise. Even for like facciapura, all that is still all right there. And then una voce poco fa largo la factorum della città. I was just going to say, because I did this in English, where that line is, I'm the most popular guy in Seville, hello, which is really hard to sing. But it's interesting to just see like, as you said, Maestro, that he was a singer himself, right? So that it shows, and it's nice as a singer to have.
Well, it's interesting because I mean, I think, you know, in your aria, in Figaro's aria that opens early in the show, we all, those of us who know it or know what's coming, we all wait for those sort of, you know, those glisses on the I believe it's the strings, that brum 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 brum, and then you go into that patter, and we're all kind of waiting to see, you know, how the Figaro of the day handles it, and it's very much but it's a really interesting point that Rossini captures it so well that it's technically kind of in this column. And once you get it, like Musa was explaining, you can kind of ride the rail if you know, if you've gotten it in there. So, Mike, I think you were going to jump in there.
Yeah, there's it's I love hearing the artists talk about how they approach things, and it's really fascinating to me how well we tend to think, you know, being in the 21st century, that people have sung, we've all sung like this for, you know, 200-300 years, but vocal technique has changed a lot, and it's even changed a lot. I think most, I don't know, I did a quick poll of the three singers we have here. Would each of you say that you feel your techniques go back to what could be counted as the classical bel canto technique? I mean,
Yeah.
as a starting point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, because I drive a truck, so, and I cannot move my voice as fast as those two can. So I don't know where my voice belongs to.
Well, it's not necessarily about how fast you can move it, but just the technicalities of appoggio and focus wherever that may be.
I believe in that. If by bel canto, the beautiful line and sticking to legato, yeah, that's how I always want to strive to sing.